Hi there. Welcome to Selah Moment with Jude. Have you ever supported a team when they were winning but suddenly lost interest when they started losing? That's what fans do. Fans cheer when things are going well. Followers stay committed when things get difficult. And Jesus had both. There were crowds everywhere he went. They listened to him, watched his miracles, and followed him because they liked what they saw. But then Jesus said something difficult. In John 6, he began teaching things the crowd didn't want to hear. And the Bible says, from that time, many of his disciples went back and walked with him no more. You see, they were happy to follow Jesus when it was comfortable. But when his teaching challenged them, they walked away. That is the difference between a fan and a follower. A fan says, I like Jesus. A follower says, I will follow Jesus. A fan admires Jesus from a distance. A follower rearranges their life around him. A fan follows when it is convenient. A follower follows even when it costs something. And Jesus never called us to be fans. He said in Luke 9:23, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. You see, following Jesus isn't something we do only on Sundays. It is a daily decision. It affects our choices, our relationships, our priorities, our money, our attitudes, our time, our everything. Fans can be very enthusiastic. They can know the songs. They can know the stories. They can quote scriptures. They can even talk passionately about Jesus. But a follower doesn't simply know about Jesus. A follower obeys Jesus. Jesus said in Matthew 7 that there will be people who say, Lord, Lord, and yet he would say, I never knew you. You see, it is possible to be around Jesus without actually knowing and following Jesus. And we see this clearly during Jesus' final days. When he entered Jerusalem, the crowds were celebrating him. They were shouting, Hosanna. But only a few days later, that same crowd was crying out, crucify him. That's how quickly a crowd can change. Fans can be fickle. Followers remain committed. So, the question isn't simply, do you believe in Jesus? The deeper question is, are you following Jesus? Because following Jesus means trusting him when you don't understand, obeying him when it is inconvenient, standing for him when it is unpopular, and continuing with him when the crowd walks away. So, maybe you've reached a place where following Jesus has become comfortable. But Jesus may be calling you deeper, not just to admire him, not just to attend church, not just to know the Bible, but to follow him with your whole life. Because Christianity isn't about cheering for Jesus from the sidelines. It is about getting out of the stands and onto the field. So today, ask yourself honestly, am I a fan of Jesus, or am I a follower of Jesus? A fan says, I like what Jesus gives me. A follower says, I trust Jesus enough to give him my life. And here's the good news. Jesus isn't looking for perfect followers. He's looking for willing ones. People who will say, Lord, wherever you lead, I will follow. Because Jesus didn't call us to be spectators. He called us to follow him.